Okay. We're in Romans 10, verses 17 through 21. It says, faith grows when people hear the message, and the message comes through hearing about Christ. But have they heard? Of course they have. The message has gone out far and wide, like a voice carried across the whole earth. Then I asked, did Israel fail to understand? No. Moses had already warned that God would use people they considered outsiders to make them jealous and to wake them up. Israel even boldly said, I will be found by people who weren't looking for me. I revealed myself to people who weren't asking for me. But speaking about Israel, God said, all day long, I've held out my hand to a stubborn people who keep going their own way. All right, so let me just clarify a couple things. When we talk about Israel, I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, Israel doesn't mean Israeli. Israelites and Israelis are two different groups, right? Israelis are a government that now consists of a lot of different people. Whoever lives as a citizen of Israel and contemporary Israel is called Israelis. Israelites were the people that were all descendants of Jacob, right? Abraham, Isaac, and then Jacob. They were known as the Israelites, and they were God's, this group of people who back in Genesis were told, I want you to be a blessing to the world, because I want you to bring the message of God to the whole world. They were the group, the family that was supposed to do that, right? And he says, I will bless those who bless you, I will curse those who curse you. And so the Israelites had this, in all the Old Testament, we read all about that chosen family, chosen not in the sense that they were something like, the only ones who were going to heaven or something. It was just that they were the chosen group that represented Yahweh, right? That represented God. And they were supposed to spread the word of God throughout the entire world or wherever they were meandering around, right? Wherever they settled. They were supposed to share that. And today, and the New Testament talks about we are the current modern Israelites, we who follow God. We're not Israelis, we're Israelites. We're not Jewish as far as the bloodlines. We are part of that line that has been called upon to spread the good news to the world. Okay, we follow that? So a lot of times when you hear like Israel or Jews in the Bible, basically the Bible was written for us, right? Way before language was developed, back, if you look at the genealogies in the Old Testament, from Adam all the way down, whether you believe that those people were literally real or not, the Bible has a genealogy of fathers and parents and siblings, right, that go all the way to Jesus. So before language was even developed, they had what was called oral tradition. And oral tradition was something that was passed on exclusively, very, very strictly. It wasn't like playing phone tag today in school or wherever. Not phone tag, what do you call it? Telephone, Do they still do that where you tell someone next to you a line and by the time it gets to the end it's absurd, right? Oral tradition was very different than that. It was like the elders of every family and tribe would pass on these stories to their kids. You see, this is why when Jesus is talking, when Paul is talking in Romans, he's saying everybody who's reading this now, who at the time were Jews living in Rome, have heard this story their whole lives. This is well before the New Testament was written. He's talking about the Old Testament. All of the words, the family of God has always heard. They've had traditions, they've had meals, they've had stories, they've known about the Torah, everything their whole lives. They've always known about it. It's not that they haven't heard, it's just that they're not listening. You ever been downstairs or anywhere and you're talking to someone and someone's talking to you but they're looking around the whole time? Looking around, And you know they're not really listening to you because they're looking around for someone better to talk to? Well, it feels that way. I'm not saying they are. I don't know what it is about me, but that happens to me all the time. People will meet me over and over and over again. They'll be like, oh, hey, hi, nice to meet you. It's like, I have met you 5 times already. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. It's like, I know, because you don't ever look at me. You're always looking around like there's got to be someone more interesting than you. Someone more attractive, someone with a little more hair on their head than you. It really, really annoys me. It really does. There was one guy in particular who was just, he'd always look at Loida and never look at me, and I'm like, oh, come here. He was like, yeah, how you doing? Another Christian. Whatever. But it's hard, right? It's hard to try to speak to someone when they're not listening. Now, if you have children, we've all experienced that. As children, we've experienced it, and as parents, we've experienced when you're trying to talk to them and they hear you, sometimes they're even looking at you, but they're not listening, right? Because you say, do not put your finger on that. It is hot. And they're like, okay, like this. Ah! And then they scream, and then they cry, and they look at you like it was your fault. Right? And it's like, I told you, and it was like, oh, I see, I just didn't understand because I wasn't listening. Some of us are school of hard knocks. Some of us have to experience things without listening. Any of you, how many of you are school of hard knocks? Come on, okay? All right, come on, be honest, a few of you? Yeah. I'm not. Sometimes I wish I were, because I'm always listening to people. It's really horrible. Someone gives you a tip on a good stock and you go for it, and then it plummets, and then it goes up, and you're like, yeah, you see, I listened, you see, because even when it went down, it went up. When they give you advice, I think there was a song once that anyway, they give you advice, and it's like, listen, just consider this. It's really, it's wisdom. I've been through that. Do it. And that person doesn't do it. I'm always like, hey, if you've gone through it, I don't want to go through it. If you think I don't, that's just the way I'm wired, right? But I think you guys know I got a couple of kids who are not wired that way. My brother, school of hard knocks, oh my gosh. As a matter of fact, it was like a challenge. You shouldn't do that. It's not wise. It's like, oh yeah? Well, watch me. I'll make it work. And it doesn't work. They keep trying. Why? Because they're stubborn. See, not only are you not listening, you stubbornly continue to go that way. And it's like, I'm telling you, it's not healthy, it's not good, it's not smart, it's not whatever. And they're like, uh-huh. And they just keep doing it. Until finally they hit the brick wall, and then they do it. Or they finally say, maybe it's years later, they may not be willing to admit that you were right the whole time. They might not be willing to say that, but they get up and they're like, okay, well, maybe it's time. How many times have you heard that a relationship with God is what it's all about? A lot. I mean, if you've been coming here, you've been hearing it like almost all the time. That's all I talk about. It's a relationship with God and a relationship with people. It's not about following the Bible. I like the Bible, don't get me wrong. I think the Bible's good. I think the Bible's great. But if all you're doing is trying to follow the Bible, you're missing the point of the Bible. Because the point of the Bible is just pointing us to God, right? It's pointing us to a relationship with God. It's telling us enough about God that we're never going to fully understand God, but it's telling us enough about God so that we can have a relationship with Him. Because how do we have a relationship with the invisible? with the seemingly hidden and seemingly unknowable. It's all about relationship. I went to a funeral yesterday for a friend of ours who had passed. She had kind of advanced Alzheimer's. It kind of went down, and anyway, she was a very sweet lady. And I haven't been to that church in a very, very long time. I used to work there. Very uncomfortable feeling. So I'm sitting there and I'm seeing people I recognize who are way older. I don't even know if they necessarily recognize me. But I'm sitting there and I'm listening and singing the songs, and the person who was doing the message went for like 35, 40 minutes and talking about like the gospel. And I'm not trying to be critical. I was like, God, give me strength not to be critical. But I was thinking to myself, if I didn't know, if I wasn't a church person, I had no idea what he's talking about. He's trying to tell everybody they need Jesus. Even the person who passed, even though she was great, she had flaws. A lot of flaws. She had so many flaws, she needed Jesus, just like you have flaws, right? And as I was listening, I wasn't disagreeing with what he was saying. It was just, it dawned on me that sometimes we as Christians, if we've been in this system for a while, it's very easy for us to become insulated and forget what it's like not to know. Forget what it's like not to understand. That when people use terminologies like being saved or born again or all those things, it's like such a weird, it's like a different language. So when they come and what Paul I think is trying to communicate is, listen, the reason why people who grew up in this aren't following it has nothing to do with not understanding it. It has to do with the fact that we're too stubborn and we're not listening. Because it's not about, listen, 5 of us could get together, read a passage, and we'll all have a little bit of a different take on that passage, right? Because it's the Bible. We're reading it. So we pray about it, and it's like, okay, God, how do we follow this, right? How do we know? How do we learn what I'm supposed to be doing as a follower of Christ? And someone will say, well, I got this out of it. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. I got that out of it. And they're like, well, no, I got this out of it. And they're 3 very different things, which is all great, right? And 2 of them may completely disagree with each other. And it's okay. It's not like you say, hey, I'm the pastor. I've been doing this a long time. I've studied the Word. I know the Greek and the Hebrew. I know all that, and I'm telling you, you're wrong. It's like that's not probably the best way of handling that, right? Even if you know they're way off. Because it's not about whether you're right or wrong. It's about being in a relationship with God. Now, stick with me here for a second. When we who understand a little bit, we understand what it means to be Christian, right? Followers of Christ. We understand that. All of us are growing in that relationship with God. We're all growing, just like we grow in relationship with people. Now, some of us have recently gotten new friends, right? You met new people, maybe a new neighbor, new person at work, or relatively new, and you have those first impressions. It's like, well, I really like this person, or I don't really like this person, the person annoying, or whatever, right? But you see them all the time. Whether it's in school, well, not now because summer, but whether it's in school or whether it's around the neighborhood, and you're, in a sense, forced or you're trying to interact with them so you can get along, because we want to get along with everybody, right? We want to be friends with people. So we work to make friends with them. And it's a continual process. When we go downstairs for coffee, I almost guarantee that we don't know everybody's name, each other's names, right? We forget. We see each other every week, and yet we don't remember your name. So it's like, I want name tags. Give me a name tag so I can remember your name. Or do I just continue to ask you your name because I keep forgetting it? We feel dumb when we do that, right? It's like, I'm sorry, what was your name again? Loida. Thank you, honey. Keep forgetting. No, but that's what it is, and we feel dumb, and so we walk over to somebody, what's that person's name again? The one right there, see, we point to them. No, it's like, yeah, it's Joe. Okay, thank you. Why is that so hard to do? Because we feel like embarrassed. We feel like we should remember it. But I'm like, and I told someone the other day, I was like, I promise you they don't remember your name either, so don't worry about it. Because that's what, it's okay, right? It's okay. It's like this process, and it's like, okay, I'm going to work a little harder at trying to remember the names of people when I'm downstairs. I'm going to try. And if I fail, I'm sorry. I will ask someone else what your name is. Because I'm the pastor and I don't want to sound dumb. But that's part of the process, right? I want to try better at getting to know the people in my congregation. I want to try to get to know people in my church. I'm not going to be you're not going to be necessarily best friends with everybody in church, but hopefully you'll be able to grow a little bit in your friendship, and that scares people, I know. Some of us. It's like it's scary to get to know people because then those people are going to get to know me. I don't know if I'm going to like them. I don't know if they're going to like me. Then we're going to have problems and conflicts in paradise. I don't want to come to church and see that person and they said something really dumb. And now it's like, now I know what your politics are, or now I know what what your preferences are, and this, that, and the other, and I can't stand that, or whatever. And we're afraid that some of those things are going to interfere with our relationships, right? So it's like, but we shouldn't fear that, because what all of this is based on is love. Regardless of your politics, regardless of your preferences in life and what you eat or what you drink or how you dress or any of those things, this is all part of our journey, right? Together. We're there to encourage and to challenge and all those kind of things, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. So let's love each other, let's keep going. Now, one of the things that we want is new people to come into our congregation. But if you've noticed, and if you've ever talked to a lot of people outside of our congregation, there's a lot of people out there who've never gone to church except for maybe during a funeral or a wedding. And they have basically zero understanding of what the Bible or what Christianity or what faith is all about. Right? These are the ones that the Old Testament, the people of God, the children of God, the Hebrew people, were supposed to, as they traveled and as they went place to place, they were supposed to be representing God, and they were supposed to be loving people and being kind to people and trying to show them and woo them into the faith. Just like we're supposed to do it today. It was called the Great Commission, given to us in Matthew. And Matthew said, go into all the world and preach the gospel, right? You see, it's not that we don't know that's what we're supposed to do. It's just like we don't want to do it. We know. It's just like, but who am I? I don't want to cause conflict. I don't want people to think I'm weird. I don't want that. It's like, you're one of them. It's like, no, I'm not. Whatever you're thinking right now, I'm definitely not that. People find out I'm a pastor. It's like, and I'm like, I'm not one of those pastors. How do you know? Because I can tell. By the look on your face, you think I'm one of those. And I'm not. Whatever that is, I don't know, but I'm not. Because it's always like, I'm sorry, I said a naughty word. I say naughty words all the time. I'm not proud of it, but don't worry, all right? It's not like something I'm worried about. It's just something that I do for a living, right? It's like it's something God's called me to, and then I preach at them for the next half hour. Not really. It's not that we don't hear what God wants for us. It's oftentimes we're just not listening. It's not that God doesn't bring people in our lives to encourage us and sometimes to challenge us. It just means sometimes if it's not what we want to hear, we just aren't going to listen. And this is the struggle. And it's like I don't get in a lot of specifics with things. I don't try to lead you to say this is the way you're supposed to live your life. You're supposed to eat this, don't eat that. You're supposed to drink this, don't drink that. You're supposed to wear this, don't wear that. You're supposed to think this, don't think that. You're supposed to vote this, don't vote that. I don't do any of those. Because I don't believe that's my place. I believe that's God's place in your heart. My job, I believe, as pastor, is to move you to a relationship of love with God and with one another. You follow that, right? So what does that look like with each one of us? What is our experiences? God put somebody into our lives. It's usually people, because I'm telling you, it's almost always relational. Every problem that's really the problem in our lives, we can go through sickness. And if you've got the right people near you, it makes it 1,000,000 times easier. It's still suffering, it's still treacherous, but when you got people who love you with you, you move through it, right? What a blessing that is. If you go through struggles, whatever those things are, with God on your side, and He brings people into your life to bring joy and comfort, if we're willing to accept it, we can have joy again. We can have peace again. But what we have to do is we've got to listen to Him. We have to be willing to humble ourselves and say, okay, God, sometimes I got to do business with myself. Sometimes I got to keep my mouth shut, and sometimes I need to learn how to speak. Sometimes I want to say something that's really sharp, really sarcastic, and maybe just a wee bit cutting, but they deserve it. And God's like, no, don't do it. Respond lovingly. And you're like, and you say it anyway. And it feels good for a few seconds. Because you're like, ooh, that was good. What a burn. And then a few minutes later, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I feel like doo-doo now. I shouldn't have said that. And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry I said that. Well, you should be sorry. Why'd you say it? I really don't want to argue. I don't care if you want to argue. I'm angry now. It depends on the person, right? Sometimes people are easily accepting of things. Sometimes people aren't. But you know how it is at work. You know how it is when you're dealing with people. It can be challenging. When you're dealing with your kids, come on. Kids, you guys are a trip, all right? You guys know it. Oh, sure, sometimes you're great and easy when things are going your way, all right? And it doesn't change. You can be in your 30s and 40s. It doesn't change. Unless we learn, right? For our I think it was our 25th, right? We went to Cancun. 25th anniversary. This is many years ago. We went to Cancun. We got this incredible deal to go to Cancun. It was literally just a few $100. It was like super cheap. Airfare, super cheap. Got to stay at the place almost for free. Cancun. It was amazing. We got there and it was, I don't even remember the name of the place, but it had this big hollow spot and the wind would blow through and there was like beach right there and it was all, what do you call it? All inclusive, thank you. Got a little thing around your hat. Hello, sir, would you like? I'm like, yeah, I like. Bring it on. Just keep bringing it, bring it. Got sick the first night, never want to do that again. And I just remember it was like every day was like perfection. It was like there was breeze at night. You go out, you could walk. It was just like this amazing experience. And every day we were up high, we'd take pictures, send them back to the kids. Look at us, it was great. And it was just this, we go down to the restaurant, it was all, it was all inclusive. It was my birthday was during the time. I got like these 2 porterhouse steaks for free. Yeah. It was amazing. Day 2, replica, same thing. Beautiful, amazing, perfect weather. Dry, it wasn't humid, it was warm. The nights were nice and cool and breezy. It was like, man, this is like paradise. This is amazing. Day 3, the same thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Why am I starting to feel bored? Day 4, we gotta find something to do besides sit around and have people serve me. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. But it only took like 4 days for me to get bored with perfection. I'm like, there's something wrong with me. That I'm bored with beauty and perfection. You see, it's not the weather that's the problem. It wasn't the company for sure that was the problem. The food was amazing. The drink was amazing. Everything was fantastic. I could even smoke a cigar from my balcony. It was all good there, man. They were fine. Yeah, sure, do it. We don't care. It's all good. Tip a guy $1. He was like, woo-hoo! It's like $1, man. It was like a lot of money. I was like, I feel bad here. Here's 2. What you need, I give you whatever you want. It was great. I'm telling you. And by the end of it, we're touring and going to, where are the pyramids and stuff at? What was that? Anyway. It was like these ancient, and we're driving through, and it was like, and I'm some guy in front of me is like pulls the seat all the way back, and all, and I'm just like, his head is like right here in the bus. It's like right here. And I'm like, dude, can you like sit up, please? And I'm like, you see, I left paradise to come see this because we were bored with perfection, and now I'm experiencing all this. So I go back, and I'm like, oh, let's just hang out here. This is it was fun to visit other places, but what a pain in the neck. And why would I want to leave perfection? You see, it's not that I can't appreciate the beauty of it, the amazing of it, but there's something inside of me that is flawed. There's something inside of all of us that has a little bit of that flaw, that even when things are going smoothly, we somehow step in it, right? Things are going well, and somehow we manage to do something that disrupts the cart. Because sometimes it's our pride, sometimes it's our ego, sometimes it's like, man, I just let this slide, it's no big deal. My life is so good. I was telling my son this week, I was like, things happen in life, right? And bills come in, and situations come in, and it's easy to get a little disgruntled. And I was mentioning last week how, as I get, the busier I get, the easier it is not to go, to spend time with God. And then when I do spend time with God, and I was telling Drew, I was like, if I don't write it down, I drift. I have to do a prayer journal, because I'll start saying, okay, God, you're amazing, you're wonderful. Oh, wait, is that a cat that's in my garden? What? Wait, hold on. Where's that BB gun at? Sorry. And then it's like, oh, wait, I was talking to God. That's right. Okay, sorry, God. No, you are amazing. You're amazing. You're awesome. You're awesome. And then it's like, is that something burning? Like, what is that smell? And it's like, oh my gosh, everything distracts me, everything. And then it's like, you hear something, it's like, oh, wait a second, did I check the mail? And pretty soon, it's an hour later, I'm like, wait, I was praying. What happened? So I got to sit down, and I'm on my phone, and I got one of those that's a note, that has like a stylus. I got to write it down. I can't, because even when I'm writing, things will start, and I'm like, no, I got it here, that's right, yep, I'm writing. And I spend time praising God. I'm telling him how great he is, and I just write it down, all the adjectives I can find to describe how amazing God is. right? And then I start thanking him for the things I have in my life, and it completely changes me. And I'm like, why is it so hard for me to do this every day when I feel so great afterward? Why is it so hard for me to work out when I feel so great afterward? Everything inside of me saying, no, man, you don't want to do that. You're too tired, you're too busy, you're too whatever. And it's like every time I work out, every time I spend time with God, I walk away full of joy. And it's like God's doing this for me, and yet I don't want to do it. There's something flawed in me. And it's in all of us. We have that. So it's like God's like, listen, it's not that you don't know. You just got to start listening. You got to be willing to listen, because there's something inside of us that wants to say, I just want to do this my way, man. I just want to do everything I just want. And we create something that, from something that's like perfect, we somehow manage to find something wrong. We manage to create something awkward, or something that pulls us to the side and moves us away from the joy and the peace. And God's like, listen, I love you. Just come back, man. There's perfection, not in the sense of everything's going to be perfect. There's no such thing in life. But to be in fellowship with God is this. He's perfect. And if we can somehow, the closer we get to him, the more we experience that joy and that peace that comes from him. But yet, not because we don't know, because something inside of us keeps moving us in a different direction. And God's like, I need you to open up your heart to me all the way. Stop closing those doors so I can address each one of these things, so that I can go in there and work with you. I love you. I'm not going to hurt you. I want to help you. You know truth. It's not about knowing truth. It's about being willing to accept it and do. All right.